quiero a Chicago porque
Мені подобається
Уаресі
Але
до
в
Чикаго,
Mi piace Chicago perché
The city of Chicago is a concrete jungle full of people from different backgrounds, people of different religions, ethnicities, beliefs, and lifestyles. But all of those people, no matter their differences, all have one similarity. They're all Chicagoans. In today's day and age, it is important to remember that being different is something that should be celebrated, not discriminated against. Every day, we all walk by ordinary people that we may judge or look over simply based on a first glance. In this web docuseries, we will be looking at some of those faces from the crowd. The first stop we'll make is in Wicker Park. Located northwest of the Loop, Wicker Park's creative and lively nature provides Chicagoans and tourists with outstanding dining and entertainment options. Located at the heart of Wicker, the Flatiron Arts Building is home to many artistic minds capable of grasping anyone's attention. Jojo Baby is one of those artistic minds.
So, were you born and raised here in Chicago?
I was born and raised here in Chicago. My mother's from the Black Hills of South Dakota. My mother's Blackfoot Sioux Indian. And my father is from Sparta, Greece. I'm a Spartan. A descendant of Hercules.
So, after your family moved here, what has their history been like? Do you have a rich history of living here in the city and getting involved and stuff?
My grandmother played the organ for the silent movies at the Chicago Theater and also taught piano. And my grandfather made trumpets for Dizzy Gillespie and Sashmo, Louis Armstrong. And then my mother was a Playboy bunny here in Chicago. So, yeah, rich history.
So what was it like growing up in Chicago, back in the day? And what neighborhood did you grow up in?
Back in the day, I grew up in Logan Square here in Chicago. My mother taught us to embrace all different cultures and quirks of the world. And we got to see the whole world here in Chicago. My mother worked 80 hours a week, but still managed every weekend to take us out for Ethiopian food or go to the Oriental Institute or see The King and I with Yul Brynner. Just crazy stuff.
So how did you become who you are today? What helped mold you into the person sitting in that chair right now?
I always think that if you wanted to make another JoJo, you'd have to take Jim Henson, Clive Barker, and Boy George and throw them in a blender, and you might end up with someone like me.
So now we'll go on to talking a little bit about your profession.
Sure.
You've had your gallery and your works for quite a while. Could you maybe offer a little insight into your gallery and everything that's sitting around you right now?
Well, first, I'm a doll and puppet maker. All of my dolls have a full skeleton in them, made out of wood, wire, and plastic. Then they're wired, weighted, and padded so they can stand by themselves and be posable. Glass eyes, porcelain animal, human teeth, human hair. I put a full chakra system into their body so they all have hearts in their chests. Some of them have hookem or diamonds in their heads because they say the stone adds to psychic ability and also works with intent. So if I want you to feel happy or sad about a character, I like to think that the stone is shining through the doll. And then I sew them with voodoo love oils in the hopes that if they ever leave me, somebody will love them as much as I do. My mother taught me how to cook and sew because she never wanted me to depend on a woman. I made her eat those words later in life. But I was taught by Greer Langton, who was part of the Andy Warhol factory and also worked for Jim Henson in the Muppets. She feathered Big Bird for the movie Follow That Bird. She said it was because of that she never wanted to see another fucking yellow feather in her life. But that's part of the history of this gallery. I've been in this building for 17 years, and now the Art Institute brings their students here to show how an artist's collection could inspire their own artwork, and that you can have a gallery in any kind of space. I just moved into this room. This is one of the largest rooms I've ever been in. The building is finally being nice to me because they see the draw that I have with the public. So it's great.
What has the journey been like for you personally as an artist, and how has your work evolved?
Well, I consider part of my artwork my performances and dressing in outlandish costumes. And in the beginning, starting out like that and having to go take a bus in full drag to a club was really hard because people, when you're different, knock you down all the time. I'm doing an art piece to myself. I'm getting tattooed with all the words that people have ever called me tattooed on me. So, fruitcake, timeless, faggot, he, she, it, what is that, Tinkerbell, those are some of them.
What is it that got you into art in general? Like, how did you begin down this career?
I started on this path with my mother showing me how to make something out of nothing. My mother was the real genius. I'm just inherited all that knowledge and I'm still spitting it out. She taught me how to sew and really look at things in another way. I think everything can have a second, third, and fourth life. I recycle firsthand, and I think everybody should. America is so if you get a stain on something, you throw it away. We're so wasteful. In this building, there are so many artists that are wasteful. Somebody just threw away tons and tons of canvases because they had a little bow in them. It's like, take the time to just make it stronger and use what you got.
Could you maybe talk about some of your current projects that you're working on and maybe your involvement in Queen?
My current projects are this room now. This is the first time I'm being able to show my museum with the public because the past rooms that I've been in have been so tight that I couldn't share. You could see from a distance what it was, but now here it is in the round. And I'm also working with Ben Hollis from Wild Chicago. He's directing me in a show called Jojo on the Go-Go and the Jojo Show. We've just re-upped it because during the middle of our first season, Ben Hollis had to have brain surgery. So during that time, we focused on what could we do to make the show better. So we invented the show. So it's going to be a show within a show. And then I work at the Underground every Wednesday, Thursdays at Neo, and Queen on Sundays. And it's funny to be trusted with my own visions. Clubs don't tell me what to look like. They just trust that I'm going to give it to you. And I still am.
So maybe now you could talk about your future. Why do you keep doing it, and where does your inspiration come from? What gets you up every day and makes you create art?
Well, what gets me up in the morning right now, I'm dating somebody and I've never been in love like this before, which is kind of crazy. I'm actually doing a little portrait of him right now, which is kind of funny. And he's taught me how to take better care of myself. And I feel like because of all this love I'm getting, I want to share it. So my looks have gotten way stronger lately. And another thing that has struck me is this shooting in Orlando, and people are afraid to go out now. So I try to give you even more now to show that don't be afraid because of one whack job. Does that answer the question?
So what's next for you? What do you hope that you can do or accomplish in the next, say, 10 years?
Well, I'm collecting footage right now because we're thinking about going on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 10. And I'm tired of seeing all my friends on there, and once they become famous, they don't talk to you anymore. So I want to be able to throw it right back at them.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about the city, Chicago, that we live in.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on Chicago as a whole, especially with the growing amounts of violence?
I love Chicago. You have the world in Chicago. You know, you can experience any culture, or you can experience anything in this town. I was thinking about moving to New York because walking down the street I was like, oh, you can tell this person's from Australia, this person's from China, yada yada yada. We have this here. And I was like, why am I moving? Plus, when I went to go look for housing there, Hurricane Sandy happened, so I was like, yeah, no. I don't have to worry about that kind of bullshit here in Chicago. We are on a fault line, but nothing's happened yet.
So at your core, what is it that makes you a Chicagoan?
What makes me a Chicagoan? Well, being born here, and I have a great love for Chicago. Even that we're murder capital. You know, I just have faith. I have faith in people. I think that someone is afraid to press the button. You know, I have to have faith in that.
Now we're going to get into talking about discrimination and diversity in today's day and age. What is it nowadays that seems to lead to discrimination, and what is it that we can do to try and lessen it?
What leads to discrimination is people not talking. You know, embrace people's differences. It's crazy.
Talking a little bit more about discrimination.
Yes.
What is it that we can do to lessen it? You mentioned just talking about it.
Yeah, sure. Why are people afraid? You know, I went to Gunther Van Hagen's Body World, you know, which is this finding out what your circulatory system looks like, your bones, all of that, you know, seeing people out without their skin on, and seeing people without their skin on, everybody looks the same. We are all the same. We all have the desire to be loved.
If they have, how have your works of art acted as a medium in the battle against discrimination?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm part of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. We're a 501c3 and we raise monies for the community. So we lose a part of ourselves when we enter the organization. Like, I'm no longer Jojo Baby, I'm Sister Mary Please, you know? And I talk to all kinds of people. All kinds of people suffer every day.
Nowadays, many people are against the idea of diversity and being unique. If it is, why is diversity important to you, and how are you a diverse person?
Well, that's weird. We are all diverse, you know. You may, Gandhi said, there's a little Hitler in each one of us, but we have the conscious choice whether or not to use that or not. And I'd rather be Santa Claus.
There are so many stereotypical social and ethnic groups that people are categorized in today's day and age. But how would you describe yourself as a person, and what social group or groups do you consider yourself to fall in, if any at all?
I've always said that when you meet me, I always try to give you my heart first. And the people that I hang out with the most, have you seen my Facebook? It's the gamut. I hang out with homeless people to the richest of rich. Sam Zell, the real estate mogul, hires me every year to do his Christmas and birthday party. You know, that's a weird thing to be top 5 richest person and know that person and know, like, Obamaya on the street, the homeless poet, you know? I love everybody.
What have other people's perspectives of you as a person been, and how do they affect you if they do well?
Everything affects me. You know, I can walk down the street and somebody will yell out their car, "Hey, faggot!" You know, it's like, I'll go, "And what?" You know?
In what ways has the LGBT culture evolved, and how have the stereotypes surrounding that culture changed and taken a step in becoming more accepted by society as a whole?
I don't think we are more accepted by society. I just think, you know, I know Jack Dorshow in New York, who is Flawless Sabrina, and he started the Stonewall riots. And when people were just being discriminated, it was the drag queens of New York that started this fight. So I like to think that I'm one of those people. I'm still kicking the door down and keeping it open for the next generation.
Being an artist in many different senses, what is something you've always wanted to test out artistically that could be considered new and innovative?
What have I wanted to do that's new and innovative? Well, I've never had a piece of public art. You know, that's something I've always wanted to do, but you know, I don't see anybody giving me a chance for that. We'll see. That's future. I would love to have a house eventually where all of these collections could be, and people could still come and visit it long after I'm gone. That's something I'd like to do, yeah, for sure.
You want to leave something behind
For the next generation. See what, like, it's funny that I have pieces from my mentor's mentor and my mentor's work and then my stuff. So you see, like, that lineage of doll making in a way.
So to finish off here, how would you end the sentence that starts with the phrase, "I like Chicago because"?
I like Chicago because people don't give us a chance and we're going to surprise you. America, they say, is split down the middle and all the fruit and nuts roll to the side. I like to think some get stuck in the crack.
You can meet Jojo Baby and see his various works of art every first Friday of each month when the Flatiron Arts Building has an open house for artists to show off their creations to the general public. Or if you're lucky, you might bump into Jojo running around Wicker Park being his lovable self. Chicago is a city with dozens and dozens of cultures scattered all throughout. Learning about those cultures and the people from them can offer one a new perspective on the world, allowing people to connect and bond over similar experiences, the good and the bad. Now more than ever, it is important for everyone to spread love instead of hate. So don't be shy, don't be timid, and don't be scared. Get out there, learn the city's history, and explore a city that's genuinely one of a kind. Get to know its people and remember to embrace the different.